But anyway, welcome everyone who's joined. And I always prefer to talk perhaps with smaller audience, but with people who are motivated, and knowing that you joined, it probably means that you are motivated to find ways to grow particularly your service business. And let's start today's show. And as you may know, today I'm talking about 5 things that I believe would be necessary for you to know now heading in 2025. And of course, these 5 things I have collected with a perspective of how to sell premium priced services to business buyers in international B2B markets. You may know that's my passion for this year. And today you will also learn some of reasons why it has become, central passion of what I'm doing this year. All right, but let's go ahead and let's start with thing number 1. And thing number 1 is what is really happening with IT service market. Because I must say that from my perspective, I have been doing quite a lot of analysis, competition analysis all across Europe of different companies. And it seems that IT service market is not doing exceptionally well. We see different things, like we see that companies are not growing in terms of hires. We see that some companies are not doing too well financially. But for me, it's difficult to say to what extent it applies to whole industry. Perhaps there are just some segments which are doing better or worse. But let's see what signs we see in the market. So first of all, if you look at big guys who are analyzing market, Gartner said in their forecast that the service market is growing, and is growing this year faster than it was growing a year ago. Generally, they say that if we look at IT service part of general IT spending, it is approximately 1/3, so 30% or 1.5 trillion. 1.5 trillion. So that's a huge market to be part of and try to take slice of. Gartner said that this year they expect approximately 10% growth, which is like half bigger than a year ago. And they also say that generally this growth of IT service market very much is driven by a shortage of skilled personnel all over the board. This shortage of personnel will also be a topic that we'll look at in more detail as one of 5 things today. Now, a big driver for particularly for for software development company revenues was coming from startups, and we see actually that since decline or in year 22, investment in startups basically went down, and it actually hasn't recovered. So perhaps it is at like long-term normal level, because as we know quite well, before the inflation, money was cheap. There was limited investment possibilities for capital, and quite a lot of that went into all kinds of startups. And the money in startups means that many startups were looking for ways how to develop their solutions, their applications, so it basically trickled down to service provider industry. At the moment, there's no good news in terms of venture capital availability for startups. We'll see how it goes. Next thing, I tried to find information about IT outsourcing specifically in Europe. There's not too much information available. The information that exists basically covers 2 markets. That one is UK and the other is Nordics. And in UK, majority of organizations, over 60%, generally are saying that they are going to outsource IT services either at the same or increased rate like a year before. And they are saying that most of them are saying that the reason they are doing it is 2 things. First of all, it's skill shortage, and second thing, it's actually cost, right? In Nordics, companies are saying that they are going to outsource actually less than before. So 20% say that they will outsource less, and particularly that is the case in Denmark, where 26% of companies say they are outsourcing less, so high ends. 40% of companies say that they are looking to increase nearshoring while decreasing offshoring. So It may mean that more business is going in direction of Baltics, Poland, and possibly less business is going away to India. Key outsourcing drivers, roughly the same. Basically, it's access to resources and talent. Now, if we look at how really big guys in market are doing, like big names, Accenture, Cognizant, Tata Consulting Services, all these are like big players in IT service market. And what we see, so here are graphs for the last 5 years and by quarter, right? And we see that basically they are either on decline or growth is flat, right? So knowing that these big players serve quite a bit of enterprise segment, right? Knowing what happens with startup investment, so it gives me a feeling that like I wouldn't be as optimistic as Gartner was saying that they see 10% growth in IT services market. So I'm a bit skeptical. Also, my own financial analysis, competition analysis that I have conducted on IT service companies in Europe suggests that things are not so rosy. So signs from market are mixed. So by large, it seems, and it seems also that you agree with this opinion, that market is rather stagnating. So it's not really growing too much. And Devasys is writing that market has actually declined in Nordics and Scandinavia. Yeah, that fits with my opinion as well. All right, let's go to thing number 2. And thing number 2, remember a while ago there was a saying that content is a king. And currently I would say that the ruling statement is that AI is not even a king. AI is an absolute monarch in market. So it's crazy what's going up with AI. So again, according to Gartner's research about global software buying trends, they are saying that 92% of customers are considering AI-powered software, and it reaches 100% in sectors of IT and finance. Also, we know quite well that roughly 75% of jobs will be disrupted by AI. And I can say from our own experience here at IBD Consulting, in last 6 months, we were running, I think, around 20, maybe 22 different webinars with different technology companies. And I can say that there was a very clear correlation that in case if the topic was related to AI, generative AI, using AI agents, also explaining how to use AI in business, all these topics got very good attention, very good participation. It was very easy to get participants. And for companies with whom we worked, it was also very easy to get to customer conversations about AI. So AI currently is indeed a very, very hot topic. I imagine it will continue for the next year, at least, probably 2-3 years, maybe more, right? So my recommendation from my perspective would be for you to think in what way your offering, your service, your product relates to AI, and how can you use this AI thing to get into customer conversations. And again, I can say from my experience that AI is an attention grabber, attention magnet. And we also know that in many companies, they have direction from top to innovate, to invest in AI. So it's quite likely that when you get into conversation about AI use, it already has some executive blessing from the top, and it already has earmarked some kind of budget specifically in AI initiatives. Because as you know, geopolitical regions are in competition for AI, companies are, businesses are, so it's a hot topic. And my recommendation for next year would be to get together your team, do a brainstorm, try to think how can you monetize this rising wave of AI. If not otherwise, then just as attention grabber, just to get in conversations with customers, open doors with AI, but maybe end up talking with, I don't know, infrastructure, underlying infrastructure, which is required for AI data management, or things like that. All right. Thing then number 3, and that's the lack of qualified personnel. It's not really news, right? So it's clear that IT skills are lacking, right? So what are most lacking skills? So here's a research from UK. First place, basically cybersecurity. The largest number of companies need cybersecurity professionals. It's difficult to hire. It's quite problematic with this skill set, and so on. Basically, cybersecurity is a necessary hygiene factor to keep the businesses running, and there's no alternative to that. Businesses will need to invest in cybersecurity, or they will go out of business. Second place is cloud computing. Third place is AI, machine learning. Like 33% of companies lack expertise, lack skill set in that area. I would think that now at the end of year, probably AI, machine learning has increased in its importance. And fourth skill is software development. Also, it's quite well known that all across Europe there is trouble hiring ICT specialists in general, right? And in some regions, this problem is more than in others. So for some reason, the biggest problem is, it looks, where Slovenia, Czechia, that's basically Eastern Europe, then Germany, Luxembourg, etc. For some reason, it's easiest in Spain, Bulgaria, Poland, and the rest of countries are in the middle. Anyway, this whole thing is more emphasized with the fact that Europe is, like, geopolitically, strategically badly lagging behind with AI. And actually, in Europe, there's only 10% of global AI talent. And one of reasons for that is because talent is quite mobile. So quite a lot of people have left for the United States. If we look at skill increase, so this comes from a LinkedIn study and compares 2016 with 2023, we see that there has been huge skill increase in AI-related skills in the United States. UK is leading, Europe is lagging behind, right? So at the moment, as you may well know, there's quite a lot of thinking and quite a lot of investment in EU level. So big investment through Horizon program, through Digital Euro program, is expected in AI. However, I would say that this global fight for talent will continue in different forms. People will be hired away, they will migrate, the companies will get acquired. We know that US is limiting high-end chip availability to China, and so on, right? My recommendation would be, again, to think quite a lot about personnel, because in general, if you are in IT service business, the reason, one of key reasons why customers are purchasing your services is because they cannot get basically hires with the same skill sets, right? So competition for personnel probably will increase, particularly for those skilled in AI. Many IT jobs by their nature are remote or hybrid. I think also the matter of fact is that particularly in Eastern Europe, quite a lot of local IT talent has already either left, or they are working for Accenture, Swisscom, or whoever is the big player locally, right? Or they are working remotely for international companies. So already the situation is not too big. So for you as leaders of IT service company, therefore it's necessary to think, how can you stay competitive in terms of personal retention, right? And it means many different things. It means, of course, salary, but it also means meaningful work. It means taking more professional challenges. It means world-class skill development. And you see, here we again come to the question of how to retain world-class talent, right? And actually, I would say that you cannot really retain world-class talent unless you are able to market and sell your services to world-class customers, charge premium pricing, and be able to provide this, how to say, this growth environment also for your employees. And actually, from my perspective, I can say that with many local companies, I have had engagements with helping them to find a way to grow their business outside of local country, not necessarily because of their ambitions to make more profits, but very often also because they just are concerned that they cannot retain employees unless they can offer them to work on world-class projects in international markets, which in comparison, let's say local Accenture office probably can provide. All right. So again, what I'm trying to lead your thinking here is that there are many reasons why you need world-class marketing and sales. One of these is also to be able to retain your personnel. Thing number, I think it is 4, actually, not 3, but 4. So price is less important than you think, than I thought, than many of us believe. So now, if you ask your customers about what are their criteria of purchasing different services, chances are they will say, well, price is my most important criteria. And consequently, also, if you talk with your sales team and you ask them, okay, what customers say, what is the most important pricing selection criteria? They will ask their customers, and they will come back and say, well, it's a price. If you ask your sales team how would be able to sell more, they would answer, well, we have to decrease price, we have to give discount. But is that true? Is this really true that you need to keep prices low to sell? And here is one interesting study, right? Because again, even if big guys like market researchers like Gartner, if they ask customers about price, customers like all they say price is very, very important. However, if you do a study a bit differently, so, and here was this research done a bit differently. So they asked before the purchase, what are most important criteria for selecting a vendor. So 82% of those surveyed said it's the price. Then came features, functionality, reviews, demonstrated experience in industry, deployment ease, etc. So seems quite of realistic, right? Now, if the same people were asked after the purchase, what turns out were the key factors, key reasons why you selected this provider, actually, then answer becomes completely different. So in first 2 places was what demonstrated stronger knowledge of the solution area and the business landscape, and demonstrated stronger knowledge of company and its needs. Then a better mix of content, higher quality content, and again, informational content, right? So what is strange with all these answers is that pricing doesn't even get into top 5 list, right? So pricing as importance to sell your services is actually overrated. And again, we don't have time to go in deeply into that, but I can say that research shows that actually pricing is third most important factor, and number 1 is trust in a relationship. Second is return on investment, and third distant is price, right? And companies, particularly in CE, have always a temptation to drop the price and sell at discount and so on, but it doesn't. But first of all, that's not always necessary. And second thing, this costs you a lot. So look for ways to increase the price, right? Because price is not one of most important factors at all, right? And if you look at business, there is almost nothing like price increase, because there's almost nothing that you can do that can increase your profitability dramatically, except increasing your price. All right. Thing number 5, which is perhaps the biggest thing that I want to talk most today, and that I have also been initially, when I found this data, quite astonished by, is the fact that companies in Central and Eastern Europe fail to capture the value. And quite frankly, it also relates to companies in South of Europe. So let's take a look at it at a bit deeper level. So what we're looking at here, this is Eurostat, and Eurostat is European Union Statistics Agency. So this is their data about value created per employee. And this specifically looks at basically software companies, right? Because in this statistical qualification, you cannot really distinguish between companies who are writing software, who are providing some, I don't know, design services, maybe MSP services, and so on, right? So let's look at software. And if we look at this graph, we see that in Western Europe, the added value per employee is around 100,000 euros per year. So who is on the list? Countries like Germany, Netherlands, Austria, Denmark, Norway, Luxembourg, right? And if we compare it to other end of graph, countries like Hungary, Slovakia, Bulgaria, Lithuania, Latvia, Croatia, Romania, etc., the difference is 2 times. And then there are countries in between, ranging from Finland to Estonia, Greece, Portugal, and so on. So what does this value added means, right? And if you look at what value added is, then we can say that roughly and approximately it not exactly equals, but it's very close to profits. So if we look at all the revenue or the price that you are charging for your services, of course, some of that part is cost, which goes for production, labor, equipment, depreciation, etc., and then there's left value added, right? And this is approximately profits, right? And if we look at the previous graph, we see that companies in Eastern Europe are making 2 times less profits than similar companies in Western Europe, right? And I'm not even discussing here countries like Ireland, Malta, Belgium, Sweden, etc. Like just average Western European companies are making 2 times more money per employee, right? So, and if I look at it, it doesn't make sense for me, right? Because first of all, it doesn't make sense economically. Most of us are operating in single market. There's free flow of services. Most of us use single currency, and the goods can be delivered electronically. There's no distance. There's no logistics limitation, right? There's not even time zone limitation because we are approximately in the same time zone, right? So there must be some kind of strange reasons involved, right? And if you look at these reasons, what could it be? Actually, I wrote an article on LinkedIn. I will share it later, exploring this, and quite a lot of people commented. So there are a number of things. Like personally, I believe that first of all, it's because there's lack of marketing, sales, and product knowledge. Like business leaders, just they are very good at doing their stuff. They are technically very proficient, but very often they lack the knowledge. Second thing, I would say that many IT professionals are happy to be employees, work at Swisscom, work at Accenture, right? Maybe remotely work for some company, let's say in the US. So obviously they are not going into becoming founders, and it means there are less businesses. Third thing is an ability to sell directly to buyers. We will also explore this problem a bit, but again, I hear it also from quite a lot of my customers that they are selling through intermediaries, and they cannot reach buyers directly, and particularly they are struggling with reaching business buyers, right? And business buyers are important because business has increased amount of saying in technology purchases, right? What else? Obviously, this is also influenced by internal inflow of EU funding. So in public sector and also private sector, you have quite a lot of money, quite a lot of projects coming in, and then you are just satisfied with working with local customers. Another thing is many businesses rely on relationship-based business model. So basically, you're selling to people you know, to people who trust you, right? And this works well in local market, right? But if you want to expand and suddenly you want to start selling your services to strangers, suddenly it doesn't work. It's not scalable, right? Another thing that what I have obviously seen is that quite a lot of companies lack systemic approach, so they lack this marketing and sales system. And very often companies just simply cannot justify the value of services. So if asked, okay, but why we have to pay this price or that price, they have difficulties to answer, or very often they maybe even go and give a discount. All right, so what to do about it? Now, first thing I thought, okay, but how can we actually calculate how much is the loss that companies bear because they lack marketing, sales, and product skills? And I came to 34% here. 34%. So that's basically 1/3 of possible business revenue companies are losing because they lack marketing and sales and product skills. And obviously, the question you have on your mind is, okay, Ron, where did you get this number, right? And let me tell where this number is coming from, right? But again, we have to go back and look at what on the slide that we looked at, how value is created. So basically this yellow part is value created, right? That's profits, and 34% of that profits actually are lost, and they are lost because companies lack these skills of marketing, sales, product creation, and so on. Again, where does it come from? It actually comes from Fiverr. Fiverr is one of leading platforms that allow individuals and companies to sell their work. So basically they take care of marketing and sell. They make a marketplace, and then they allow participants to compete with their offers, and Fiverr is able to take 34% of all this turnover. So this is how I calculate those 34%, and this is really huge, and particularly it is huge because if you invest in your own marketing, it's 3 to 4 times less expensive. So in long run, we know again from the Gartner research that companies in technology sector spend from 8 to 11% of their revenue on marketing, right? And we know also that this year this spending was on average 8.4% of revenue on marketing, right? And if you compare that to those 34%, that is like 3 or 4 times less expensive. And therefore, I don't see a reason why companies do not invest really in marketing and sales, except that perhaps they have tried and they have failed, or they do not know how to start. So let us a bit talk about why do marketing and sales efforts of IT companies fail. And here I can base my opinion on actually 8 years and working with well over 100 IT companies, basically all across the Europe. And I would say that probably in 90% of all cases, the failure can be attributed back to lack of clear strategic choices. So how does it impact the business? So first of all, if there is lack of clear strategy, what does it mean in terms of marketing and sales? It means that the founder or business leader really cannot efficiently delegate sales and marketing tasks, right? And it means that investment in marketing doesn't pay off, right? So you conclude that it doesn't make sense investing. And as a result, what we see very, very often that founders or CEOs of such companies takes really excessive workload because they are trying to compensate for inability to efficiently delegate marketing and sales tasks. So they do a lot of marketing and sales themselves. So they work 10, 12 hours per day. And basically, it's not sustainable, I think, right? Or another alternative is actually to form a very costly partnership. So you need to take as a partner somebody who's very good in business and selling, and that probably will cost you quite a lot, right? As we saw, Fiverr is taking 35%. So probably if you want to partner with some, let's say, senior business development guy, right, it probably also will cost you some 30% of profits, right? Second effect of lack of clear market strategy is actually that you cannot stand out in market. And as a result, your company is not focused, but it tries to sell almost everything to anyone, right? And this means that you are not perceived as a specialist. You cannot claim specialization. You cannot really claim industry knowledge. And as a result, you cannot build trust. And trust is basically a currency that is necessary to open doors and to have conversations with business buyers. And the third thing, which is also related, that if you lack strategy, if you haven't made these strategic choices, again, you cannot specialize. So, and it means that there's no specific market, there's no specific market segment, there's no product which you can use to justify the value of your company. You see, because again, you are selling everything to everyone, and the value of your company basically is made up just by some number of employees who may show up for the work in the morning or may not show up, right? And this means that there is not like residual value to your company. And it means that even despite, spending tens of years of building business, you really cannot sell your company or you cannot sell it at high valuation, right? So it means that you cannot really monetize your many years of work invested. And if you decide to retire, let's say today, chances are that company will just collapse. So you are all the time, tied to running your business, right? So what to do about it? So obviously the starting point would be to start with making clear strategic choices. All right, but how to do that? So I would say that this business growth is not really rocket science, particularly for service businesses. But a part of a problem very often is that founders of business and CEOs very often are rather technical people, right? And even if they are business people, actually the way marketing and sales works, the way customers behave have changed significantly in last, let's say, 10, 20 years. So there are a few things that founders and CEOs need to know really, really well. And this is first of all understanding buyers behavior and where the value comes from, right? How you can price your products. Second thing, what we looked in the previous slide is making very clear strategic choices. And there are not like 20 strategic choices you have to make. There is like 3 big choices. And first of all, this is about specialization. Second thing is about ideal customer profile, right? And third choice is unique value proposition. So if you are able to make these 3 choices, you are already in a very good position to delegate marketing and sales tasks to others, right? And the third thing is actually you have to figure out how can you demonstrate the competency of your company, the specialization of your company, how you can build trust, and how you can get into customer conversations. And again, as we looked at the previous slide, right? You cannot grow your business if you, as a founder or CEO, do not have this knowledge. Because the thing is that you cannot really, hire junior marketing person and expect her to succeed, or hire, some sales guy and hope they will succeed, unless you have made these clear strategic choices, unless your business is focused, unless you know your customer, your unique value proposition very well. Now, where I'm leading with this. So my recommendation here is very, very practical. And this is actually considered participating in my masterclass and challenge, how to market and sell IT services. So this is a program that I created earlier this year. And it's based, again, on my experience with working with companies like that, and also knowing the very, very huge difference of value, right? So potential for companies to increase value, increase price, increase profitability is just massive. So I have developed 3-week intensive online training, right? And what we talk about is actually filling the knowledge gaps of what we talked about earlier. Understand B2B buyers' behavior, make strategic choices, and also very practically prepare your growth plan. How will you reach out? How will you demonstrate competency? And so on. And this will also help you to delegate marketing and sales tasks. And it doesn't mean that you need necessarily to hire internal team, but even if you are partnering with some external partner, you will be able to define what exactly you want from them very, very well. So it will basically give you a tool set, knowledge, templates that you will use, I think, basically forever, building your business. And actually, if you sign up right now, let me see if I can pull it up. Yes, here it is. I will be happy to grant you 20% discount. So full price for masterclass is 900 euros. You get 20% discount, or you pay 720 euros if you claim the discount right now, and if you pay during this week. Let me see if I had, I think I had some other slides, but I have no problem switching to them. All right, here it is. So let me talk a bit about what we cover in this masterclass and challenge. So as I mentioned, it takes place over 3 weeks. So there are 3 classes and 3 Q&A sessions. And then at the end, there is wrap-up session. So in class 1, we talk about how buyers behave, what are sources of value, how to choose specialization, how to very practically create your list of ideal customer profile customers, and how to select market. Then in Q&A session, I share templates. I demonstrate you practically how you can use databases to create a list of your ICPs. How can you get statistical data? How can you find out in which countries you should go? Because there are customers that you are looking for. In class 2, we continue with strategic choices. We discuss developing buyer's persona. We discuss what's the difference of selling between selling to technical and business buyers, and how to sell services as a product. And selling services as a product is a really big and growing thing, because if you are specializing, you will find out that sooner or later you are ready to create a product, right? And products typically are more profitable than services. Then in second class, we talk about how to develop first step offer, funnels, and so on. And third class, we finalize the plan. You get a practical template, and we discuss some practical things: how to write case studies with AI, how to run a webinar, how to engage communities, and perhaps most importantly, how to create a viable business model. And part of this masterclass is a challenge, and challenge part is actually the homework. Basically, that means that during this training, you are working on your own strategy. You are developing, creating a business growth plan, and of course, from my side, I am also providing you with feedback. Right? I'm providing you with feedback, with suggestions, so that we can make sure that by the end of training, you have developed rock solid plan, and you are ready to implement and ready to grow your business the next year. All right, so that is it from my side. I will make sure that apart from this webinar, you also get a chance to get recordings of my other 3 webinars related to IT services sales. So this is in the middle, how to sell IT services, where I was talking about how to make strategic choices. Then on the left, that's a webinar where I was talking how to convert your services into products, right? Because selling products is easier. And on the right, how to manage sales of IT services. All right, if you have any questions, I would be more than happy to answer. Just let me know in chat. I see what's going on in chat, and then we can discuss this. Yeah, thanks, Ivans. Thumbs up from Jens and Alexanders. Yeah, thank you, Angelo. Maris, paldies. All right, it seems we don't have any questions. So very good. Let me wish you a Happy New Year, and before that, Merry Christmas. And I hope to see you in some other online event, or ideally at my masterclass. Thank you, and good luck with your business.